somewhere far away. I want you back. I want.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What's up and what's going on, Alpha Traders? How we all doing on this fine Wednesday? Woo, baby. It is here. It is officially March 1st. March Market Madness. I've been telling you guys the market is going to be freaking mad for the month of March, and I'm excited for a brand new month, team, right? A brand new month. Today's a brand new day full of brand new opportunities in the market, guys. If you had a bland, I guess, February, not really where you wanted to be, it's a fresh slate, right? We're all starting fresh for the month. If you made $1 million, you're starting fresh. If you lost $1 million, you're starting fresh. We're all starting at 0 for the month of March. So again, just learn from what happened, good and maybe bad, for the month of February. Apply that this month to see those better results, and lean on this community as much as possible to get exactly what you need to have a killer March. Again, team, March Madness is here. It's going to be a killer month in the market. We've been dominating this market since the first of this year. January was amazing. February was even better, and we're going to make sure that March blows those 2 months out of the water. So get with it, get dialed in, let's have some fun, let's make it happen, and let's lock in those amazing profits. And how do we do that, team? How do we lock in amazing profits? Someone tell me right now. For those of you that have been here, for those of you that have been paying attention, all right? For those of you that have been paying attention, how do you lock in big time, consistent profits in the market? Ladies and gentlemen inside the chat, what do you got for me? And while someone's trying to figure it out and what it is, all right? What's up, Joey, over on YouTube? Glenn, what's good? We got 34 viewers right now. Go ahead and hit me with a good morning right now if you're on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the stream. We're going to make it happen here in a moment. We're going to get you guys prepared for today's trading session, give you guys my personal game plans, review the market, make sure you're on top of everything and how we're looking to make money today. All right, good morning, Kits King, Chris, Connor, welcome to the team, boss. What's happening, Hunter, Josie? How are we doing? So, guys, the answer that I'm looking for. Why are you being shy right now? Why are you being shy right now? Don't be shy, right? How do you make consistent money in the market? Right? It's a byproduct, right? Byproduct, right? We say this all the time. If you do this, a byproduct of doing that is consistent profits. You guys with me? The first of the month, guys. Come on. It's the first of the month, right? We're excited. We're motivated. We're energetic. Get with it. Get with it. Yes. 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 Cassin. 100%. Consistency in taking the best of the best trades. Take only the best trades, the highest quality trades, the highest probability trades. And then guess what? By doing so, your losses will be small, your wins will be bigger, and you will see consistent profits. It's a byproduct. A byproduct of taking only the best trades is making money, right? So take the best trades. Make it happen. Let's get to it, guys, all right? Again, good morning. So let's go ahead and talk about penny stocks right now at this point in time. Good old penny stock land, all right? And since we're about 25 minutes until the market opens, we are going to just go through this from a technical perspective, right? You guys know my checklist, right? Is there a press release? What's the flow? What's the volume? How does the chart look from a technical perspective compared to the other thousands of stocks that are moving? That is my pre-market checklist. If it meets the checklist, and it hits all those boxes, it's watch list worthy. That's how we eliminate the noise. We have a training in the video lessons library for you guys on how I go through my pre-market stock selection phase in the mornings to, again, review these hundreds and thousands of stocks to get down to the top 3 to 5. We're not going to go through all that thoroughly right now because, again, we got a lot to talk about, and that's going to take up too much time. So right into the technicals, guys. These stocks meet the criteria. These stocks check off all of those boxes. Number one, VVOS. You're looking for a break of the downtrend here. Break of the downtrend to make entries for the next leg on up. Very simple stuff, guys. If you were to expect, what would this trade look like, right? What would the trade look like if I were to get in? This is what the trade would look like here, right? Would want to see the stock come up and just simply break the downtrend. That is where you would be looking to ideally make your entries at a break of the downtrend with an increase in volume. You want to see volume, good price action. That would help validate this trade. Where would your target be? Well, you would retest the prior lower high. So you see this lower high, that would be a target, PT1, and you see all this resistance right here, that would be a target. Now stops, very simple, stops would go underneath that support level, right? So under this support level, or your stop losses could go under the prior swing low, wherever that prior swing low is. That's how you would take this trade. That's what you'd be expecting on VVOS for a break of the downtrend with volume. You'd have some room. First target of 95 cents, then $1. Right now we can see we have 76-cent support at this point in time, just looking for a volume break of the downtrend to get going. Number two, we got LHDX. Good press release here on Monday. The stock rips in pre-market. And then it does nothing here Monday. Nothing, right? Then it just starts to get some action here yesterday as it broke over Monday's pre-market high of 78 cents. And then it just took on off, went absolutely bananas. Now we have a lot of momentum here with the stock. So Monday press release, checked the boxes on Monday. Now it's all momentum. And I really want you to pay attention to LHDX. We're starting to see a trend here, okay? Here's the trend that I'm starting to see here. We have a press release and it's good. It checks off all the boxes, okay? Like LHDX. Rips in pre-market. There's opportunity to trade the stock in pre-market. The day that the press release drops. For this example, LHDX here on Monday, okay? Does nothing intraday. Nothing intraday whatsoever, okay? It just fades. It just does nothing. Day two, it gets action. So day one, you discredit it. It closed red. There's no opportunity. Cross it off. Well, day two, we see some action, right? We go green. We get that nice big rip and run. LHDX, day two, we hold support. We break that prior day high. In this case, it was the prior pre-market high. Resistance, right around 78 cents. We break it, and that's where the big time volume moves in, and that's where we see that big time rip and run to the upside. Now, LHDX is all momentum. But keep what I just said in mind, right? There's a little bit of a trend here, okay? But back to LHDX. What could we see today? Well, I don't think there's tons of room to the upside, and here's why. You see that red line on my chart? That's the 200-day moving average. And what do we know about the 200-day moving average, right? It's one of the most respected moving averages as support and resistance by traders. So what's going to happen when we come up to that red line? There's going to be a lot of sellers there, a lot of traders ready to start locking in profits if they're still in this. So even if you break 118, you got room to 130, and that's a very strong level of resistance. So keep that in mind. You may struggle to break above 130. Right now, we do have resistance here off yesterday's high a day at 118, and I would say bottom support would be back down at 85 cents. So if we fall below $1 and we come back down and stay above 85 cents, that could be a good area to get long, expecting buyers to move in off that lower level of support, pushing this back up into resistance at 118. And if we ever do break 118, you could see 130, and that would be your final target on LHDX, okay? That's the intraday analysis as far as what we could expect to see and how we would look to trade this stock. But again, remember what I said. Monday, press release, nice big spike, does nothing day one, and then we get this big time move on day two. Check out CDIO right now at this point in time. Check out CDIO. CDIO yesterday had a killer press release, right? They launched a revolutionary blood test for the early detection of coronary heart disease. That's an amazing press release. No wonder the stock literally went from like $1 and it ripped to $4, right? Over 300%. Killer press release. It checked off all the boxes. But what did CDIO do yesterday? It did nothing intraday. It set flat. Didn't do anything. We had a red day. What do you think a lot of traders are doing? What do I typically do? I discredit it. I take it off the watch list. But what's the trend that we're seeing? Day 2, we explode if we hold day 1's low of day. Like, look at LHDX. We held day 1's low of day. We stayed above it. We pushed. Then we broke that resistance level with LHDX. It was right around that 78 cents, and then we explode. So there's a couple ways you could have traded LHDX. You could have traded it off anticipation that it's going to hold the prior day low and make a move, or you could have simply took the break over that resistance level. You could have just taken the break over the resistance level and waited for confirmation, okay? You can anticipate the trade or wait for confirmation. Completely up to you. CDIO, right? What's yesterday's low of day? Right around 293. So as long as this stock holds above 293, we have good potential to see what? A $4 break. Yesterday's high of day. And what do you think could happen? Maybe we see that trend unfold here with CDIO, where the stock absolutely takes on off and rips big time over the first day's high of day. And that could send the stock all the way where? To $5 and then $5.25. And what do I like about CDIO compared to, say, like LHDX, right? Well, look at LHDX. A lot of resistance at 130, right? That 200-day moving average. Tons of resistance. Look at CDIO. Resistance is 525, right? It's good resistance. It's strong resistance. But what if we break 525? What if we break that 525 level? Well, the sky's the limit. This stock can rip and run and absolutely go bananas, right? There's no overhead resistance. There's no past chart history to see like, wow, there's going to be a lot of sellers here, right? The sky is the limit. The stock could go bananas. We could see the stock up to the 875 mark and then possibly 10. But even if we don't break 525, there's fantastic potential to see the stock breaking 4 and ripping to 5 and then 525. That would be a fantastic trade here with CDIO. And again, the stock had a killer press release yesterday. So keep it on high watch, as that is we're starting to notice a little bit of this trend that we just discussed, okay? And then lastly, ONCS here, right? So ONCS, we were simply looking for a break of this downtrend, which it looks like we just got that break slightly. It's like, okay, is this the downtrend? That looks beautiful, but is this the downtrend here? And is this the retest, right? You could really draw it one of two ways, right? Trend lines are very subjective. So here's what I would do. I would just go ahead, zoom out, mark up your support level here at $2. Say, all right, I got $2 support. Where's resistance? Well, look at all of this resistance here on ONCS. We come up to 235, we fall. 235, we fall. Boom, boom, we fall. Here we fall. So every time we come up to 235, we fall, right? So, hey, could we come up to 235 and fall again? Absolutely. But what if we break 235? What if we actually get a solid break and now we're staying above, trading above, and holding above 235 as support compared to hitting it and dropping as resistance? Well, that's going to bring in some buyers, and we could absolutely start to see the next leg on up. Where to? Look at the daily chart. Look left, up towards around these highs, around 260 to 265. Do the same thing. If we break that 260 level, where could we go? Look left, all the way towards around $3. So ONCS doesn't look bad because we're starting to build these higher lows. We've established very solid support at $2. And now we're looking for this higher low break of resistance right at 235. So you'd be looking for a nice break. Ideally, get yourself a retest, and as long as you see the stock staying above and holding above 235 at that point in time as support, you definitely want to, again, look for that break and retest for your entries. First target would be the 260s, and then up towards around the high 290s, right around 3, and you would literally keep your stops nice and tight here on ONCS. Okay, so you got ONCS, there's potential. CDIO, we discussed this. This could be a back burner sleeper. And we're just really comparing this to what LHDX did yesterday. and a few stocks last week that had very, very similar movements, right? Day one, red, not a lot of action. Day two, it pops on off. We could definitely see, hey, if that trend continues, CDIO would be the next best candidate. On top of that, press release was killer. And then maybe VVOS, if we can hold above this support level and at any point in time come through and break the downtrend. Now to the fun part. Now to the juicy trades. We got the small cap penny stocks out of the way for you guys. If you guys are trading them, best of luck. Make it happen. Manage your risk and crush it. Maybe if we have some good opportunities, you may see me kind of working myself in with a couple penny stocks today if we got some great trades. But where's the money been at lately? Where's the consistency been at lately? Large caps. Looking at the SPY, trading Tesla, Square, NVIDIA, right? That's where the money has been. And you guys are starting to come to the dark side, right? And you guys are starting to really step on over, getting educated with options. And you guys are absolutely dominating it and crushing it, realizing, wow, it's actually not that hard to trade options. It's actually really fun and simple, and there's a lot of money to be made. So here's the deal with the SPY. Right? A couple things I want to point out. Very simple stuff, and we may not get it, though. That's the problem. As you see that downtrend, I was looking for put contracts at the start of the day off that downtrend, right? If we would have come up and just held flat in pre-market and we would have opened and pushed into this downtrend, I would have absolutely been playing put contracts, right? We have a downtrend, we fall. Downtrend, we fall. Downtrend, we fall. What do you think is going to happen? Hit the downtrend and fall. But here's the deal, right? We're already starting to drop on off. So for this to go all the way up into that downtrend to take puts, it's going to take forever. And we may not even get that trade at this point in time. So I had some great game plans built on the SPY today, right? Really expecting it to kind of stay flat. We didn't have any data today. We didn't have any 8:30 economic drops to where to why the market fell. So it's a little unfortunate to see the market fall like 3 points in the last 30 minutes and put it so far away from that downtrend. So we just have to readjust and reanalyze what we could see. And here's what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing a wedge, right? The year of the freaking wedge. Where's Corey at? Where's everybody else inside the chat? The year of the wedge, right? What do we have right now on the SPY? And we just saw that trend line validate, right? We have a trend line here. Okay. We can see we have this low here on the SPY at 393.64. We have this low here. We have 2 points. So now when we have 2 points, we can run a trend line. Now we just have to see, is it validated on a third point? Right here, we just came down to the penny and validated it on 0.3. So we have this trend line against these higher lows. We also have a downtrend against these lower highs. What is this? Another freaking wedge. The year of the wedge. So we're just going to trade the wedge, guys, right? The higher time frame wedge. All right. And so this is basically what we want to see here. Okay. At this point in time, that trend line is support, right? It's right off that post-market low as well. So you got a lot of support right here on the SPY, and it's off again that trend line, point number 3. So at this point in time, as long as this trend line holds, what do we want to do? We want to be playing calls. Right? Want to play calls until the trend line cracks. So if we're getting involved here on the SPY off the trend line, where do we put stops? If we crack the trend line. But if we hold this trend line and we have a green day today, where could we see the SPY go? Into a downtrend. And that would be where you'd want to sell those calls that you're getting involved with here at this uptrend. Very simple stuff. So you're getting in at trend line support. Stops go right below that level if we crack it, and then you could literally flip into put contracts to see it come on back down towards around those Friday lows. But right now, there's probably about an 80% probability based on trend lines and based on the market. There's probably about an 80% chance we hold the trend line and we get this grind back up into this downtrend. That's where you sell your calls, right, for profit. And that's when you consider jumping in the puts and continue to play this wedge until the wedge either cracks or until the wedge either breaks. But as long as we're inside of this wedge, you're just going to trade this wedge off support, off resistance, off support, off resistance until it decides to move outside of that wedge. So that's what we're looking to do. Want to try and catch an entry on the SPY as close to this 395 as possible, right? As close to 395 as possible. That's where I want to be getting involved here with the SPY today on some calls and see if we come back into that downtrend around 398 to sell the calls, and then at that point in time, flip into puts. But here's one thing that you have to be mindful about today, right? What do we have coming on today? Look at your economic calendar. Come on down. 10 o'clock PMI data for February. High importance, right? The manufacturing PMI report on businesses is based on data compiled from purchasing and supplying nationwide. Okay, so we're going to get ISM manufacturing PMI data here for February of high importance. Then we have ISM in manufacturing employment, right? We have construction spending, ISM manufacturing prices, and new orders. But again, we do have very, very high importance economic data being released at 10 o'clock, right? So you have to be completely mindful of that 10 o'clock mark, okay? You definitely don't want to be in a position blind right at 10 o'clock because you may get completely whipped out of a trade. So what should you do at this point in time? Corey does this best, right? Grab yourself a time tool. Grab yourself a time tool. Go here to 958, put a red line, right? So you know when you see the market right at this red line, it's time to look to put your finger on the trigger, possibly get out of your position and be flat into that economic release. And then you can get in after we pass the red line. It's that simple, guys. So just something to be mindful of. I don't like red. Let's change the color and we'll do like a light gray and that should be sufficient. Okay. So again, I want to see the SPY open, pull back quickly to 395. I'd like to see the SPY open, drop quickly, 395, right? Just a quick little drop as close to 395 as possible. I'm jumping in the calls, right? SPY's the number one watch right now for me at the start of the day. I want to get in as close to 395 as possible. Stops go under 395, right? Stops go under the trend line if we crack the trend line. And then I want to, again, take SPY up as high as possible before that 10 o'clock economic release. And we'll see what the SPY does at that point in time. Okay, so that's my analysis here on the SPY. As long as we hold 395, we're taking calls up into that downtrend, which would be right around 398.55. Okay, 398.55. And maybe the ISM data helps give us that extra volatility and that extra push into that resistance level. And at any point in time today, we hit that downtrend resistance, mid 398s, and we can't break through it. That's when we sell our calls. That's when we flip into puts for the next leg on down, guys. That's how we're day trading the SPY. Very simple stuff. Very simple stuff. And keep it that simple. Build your plans, right? Assess how many contracts you're taking. Make it happen, guys, right? Let's start March strong and profitable, right? Tesla. Here's my analysis on Tesla. This may happen today. You know, it may not happen today. You see that trend line on Tesla? I really want that trend line to crack. I really want this trend line to freaking crack. But here's the deal. What do we know about trend lines? When you're above the trend line, it's support. And when you're above the trend line, it's considered bullish. So you're not shorting this. You're looking for long opportunities above the trend line. We called this one last week off the trend line for calls. Well, look at that. Come down to the trend line. It bounced, right? Right now, I'm going to call Tesla trend line for calls again, assuming we have a good green day with the SPY and the Qs. But keep in mind, don't we have something with Tesla today? Like it's investor day or something like that at like 2 o'clock? Yes. So, you know, at this point in time, as long as Tesla holds the trend line, you want to play calls. But if we get investor day at 2 p.m. and the market reacts and then we see the crack of the trend line, let's say we ever get a crack of that trend line, I'm going aggressive on put contracts. I'm getting locked and loaded, right? What happens when we crack trend lines, guys? What happens when we crack trend lines? We drop. Look at the trend line on the SPY, right? What happens when we crack trend lines? We drop, okay? What happens when we crack trend lines? We drop. Again, do you want me to give you another example? What happens when we crack trend lines? We drop. So trend lines are very, very simple to trade. If you're looking for cracks of trend lines, wait for a crack of a trend line. Looking for breaks of downtrends, wait for the break of a downtrend. I personally like cracks of trend lines because I love shorting because, again, what's the saying? Bulls take the stairs up and bears take the elevator down. We see those massive drops, again, very quickly at times. So that's what I want to see on Tesla. You know, again, if we're holding the trend line, you don't want to short it. You want to play it long. And that trend line is going to put us right around 203 today on Tesla. So this trend line puts you right around 203, which is also yesterday's low of day, which makes this a really nice area of support on Tesla to catch a long position. Right around 203.70 is a great area to catch a long on Tesla. And again, that puts you right around this trend line that you've bounced off of, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, right? You hit this trend line so many times here just on Friday. So that's what I'm looking at on Tesla. Hold the trend line, hold above 203.74. Yesterday's low of day, you play calls. Where to? Look left at your prior highs. That's where you take profits. But here's the deal on Tesla. Real quick, we got 2 minutes to go. What could we see on Tesla? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, potential crack of the trend line, right? We have a potential reversal coming on in, right? We have RSI dropping, showing that we've lost buying momentum. Sellers are moving on in. You could see there's a little bit of divergence through here, just a tad bit of divergence here on Tesla on the daily. We're slowing down. We're overextended. We're at resistance. You weigh out all of these things, and you say to yourself, if that trend line cracks, there's a lot of things that suggest this could be a massive drop on off. The head and shoulders formation, the daily divergence, being overextended into resistance. And to top it off, simply put, you're going from the bullish side to the bearish side of the trend line. That's when I want to get locked and loaded on put contracts. That's when I want to get hard and heavy for a swing trade on Tesla. If we crack that trend line, if we crack below yesterday's low of day, I believe we come down and fill the gap first, right? You see that gap here? I believe our first target is a gap fill at 197.65. And then look left, look left, look left. We can come down and fill these lower gaps as well on Tesla. It's very possible. And if we ever get that confirmation for those puts for the swing trade, don't be surprised when I say, guys, I'm locked and loaded. Just because I get locked and loaded doesn't mean you go full port. You don't take your entire portfolio and throw it in the Tesla. Because what could happen? It could be a stop out. Remember, I took the Tesla puts here and I got stopped out, right? It was a losing trade. It could be a losing trade. So again, have a plan, manage your risk, position yourself correctly. But if we crack that trend line, the odds are we dump on off. Finally, I got 30 seconds to talk about SQ. It's really simple. You have a reversal formation forming on square, right? You have this reversal formation forming on square, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break of the downtrend. That's it. You're looking for the support level to hold. That's your right shoulder. You're looking for the break of this downtrend to play this long for the next leg on up. Again, square, very quick, guys. Inverse head and shoulders, higher low push off $75 support, break of the downtrend to play calls on square. But I need to get ready here on the SPY because, like I said, I want to be jumping into the SPY right here at 395 out of the gate. And I got to get that small account open. Let's make it happen. Daily expiration. Daily expiration on the SPY. We're going March 1st. Probably go like a 396 call option. 396 call option. Okay. Right off 395 if we get there at the start of the day. Drop on off. Go a little red. As close to 395 as possible. I want it. I'm taking it. I like this. I think there's great potential, guys. So let's see. Can we get that drop to 395 and start building a position? Here we go. Here we go. Can we get it? Give it maybe 50 cents of breathing room, right? If you get a 395 entry, maybe give it, 25 to 50 cents of breathing room. You do not want to see it crack that trend line. We're going to start scaling in with 2 contracts at a time, 396 calls. 396 calls that expire here today. So right now, again, based on our analysis and based on everything that we've discussed and everything that we see right now, as close to 395 as possible would be ideal. For an entry here on the SPY for calls, do we want to start scaling in? Maybe we go ahead and start scaling into this. Maybe we go ahead and start scaling into this one, guys. One contract in, and we'll add a break of this downtrend. One contract in for me. It's a small account position. We're getting in early. Just in case we break and rip and run, right? I want some skin in the game, but I don't want to go full position. We break that downtrend. I keep adding. I said as close to 395 as possible. We got down to 395.17. I would say that's pretty darn close. So right now, guys, this is a high probability setup. This is a high probability trade, guys. If you're trading your main accounts and your large accounts, lock in profits. Freaking crush it at the start of the day. Make it happen, right? Make it happen. Get with it, right? If you're trading those big accounts. If you're trading those small accounts, hey, you're up like $1. Woo! You're up $1. But again, it's all about the trade, baby. It's all about the trade. We got a nice little entry here. Starting to break that downtrend, right? After we put in this higher low off that 395 support level. Happens to be that trend line that we're bouncing off of. Now we just want to see a nice little follow through ahead of PMI data. A nice follow through to the upside ahead of PMI data, guys. SPY starting to get that break here of that downtrend, right? You guys are up maybe 50 cents here on the SPY, which is not bad. If you guys were catching this as close to 395 as possible, right? And let's say you're trading a bigger account, 10, 20 contracts, which like a lot of you guys do, and I do as well when I'm focused on my main account, that would be money. That would be a quick little out of the gate trade. That would be some money here. Right now, we're going to let this breathe a little bit. The analysis suggests some action to the upside. So if this turns into a loss, that's fine, guys. Like, you have to be okay with losing a little bit in the market to be able to make some profits. Right? I'm still liking us above that trend line and above 395. So as long as we hold that, we have higher probabilities of pushing versus dropping. But here's the deal. There's always that 20% chance that the market goes against you. Right? We all know that. There's always a 20% chance the market goes against you. At best, you can have an 80-20 setup. 80%, it's going in my favor. 20%, oh, it could go against me. So you have to have a plan. You have to have a place where you're going to stop out and walk away from the trade if it goes against you. So always have a stop in place. Always have a plan and make sure you're managing that risk. Because again, no matter how confident you are, anything can happen. Biden can say something right now and the market doesn't like it, and then we dump. China can bomb Taiwan. And the market may not like that, and we could dump. So again, you always got to have those plans in place. The year of the wedge. The year of the wedge, right? All right, guys. I want to add to this position here on the SPY. We're bouncing off that trend line. We got the year of the wedge again. Got another wedge formation here. You see this trend line off these higher lows and the trend line off these lower highs. It is the year of the wedge. That's funny. We're wedging around. We just got wedges for days. Wedge for days. So right now, we may get an ad here on this candle close. We're going to wait for this candle to close and see what it does, but we may be getting an ad here as we're just building a little position. We got a whopping 2 contracts. A whopping 2 contracts. Want to maybe get up towards around that 10 contract mark with still maintaining our maximum loss and managing that risk on the trade. So right now, we're flat. 2 contracts. We got great potential to see this move all the way to 398 ahead of 10 o'clock. Yeah, the market can move 2 points ahead of 10 o'clock. We've seen it before. Seen it before, guys. First 30 minutes of the day where there's the most amount of volatility and the most amount of volume as well. So the likelihood of getting a 2-point move would happen in the first half of the day or the second half. I mean, the first 30 minutes, the second 30 minutes. So right now, Watching the spine, I'm looking to see, do I want to get an add here? I think I may want to add off that trend line. And then if I get the add and the trend line cracks, I'll just stop out of that add. And then I'll re-add later. Does that make sense? Like I'll add here, expecting this to be the best place to add to this position. If the trend line cracks, right, I'll just take the add off the table. Because by getting that other half off the table that I added, it just simply reduces my risk again. And if the stock still sets up, guess what I can do? I can re-add at some point in time. These are cheap contracts, right? These are cheap contracts. And that's something that you can do even on a smaller account. So right now, decreasing volume pullback into that support level. We want to see 395 hold on up. Obviously, that's our support level. That's the trend line that we respected. That's the trend line that we bounced off of. We're in that wedge. And stops are going to be maybe like 394.75-ish. Like if we come down to that level, maybe that's where the stop is, depending on price action. I said maybe upwards of 50 cents of risk at most. So again, we're looking at like an absolute low of 394.50, 395.75 could be the stop out as well if we don't like the price action and how the stock is moving. But right now, everything's still okay. Everything's still okay. We're going to add here. We are going to look for this add. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and add here to the SPY. I like how we're getting pushed back up here. And if we get a new low of day, right, and a low of day is below this low we just put in at 395.16, if we get a new low of day, I just take the add back off the table. It's that easy. I just reduce my position again, and I take that add back off the table. And then I just continue to cycle and really work this position while it's still intact. And that's how I want to trade this right now, based on our analysis, based on our thesis, based on our game plan. Again, always have those stops in place, manage your risk, because again, anything could happen. I'm going to add again off the trend line because we're bouncing off the trend line. So I'm going to add again here. I want to see a nice big push here on the SPY and ideally break that downtrend. Nice big push here on the SPY. I want to see off that trend line, get a nice big push and break that downtrend ideally. We can maybe take some profits at like VWAP if we get there. If we ever get a nice big squeeze up to VWAP, we could start locking in some profits. We got about 6 contracts here. We're on the March 1st expiration, 396 calls. 396 calls. If we get in the money, these could definitely print very quickly for us. We can definitely have a nice little early morning profit. We're up about 30 bucks on the small account right now. But we don't have a lot of buying volume. That's the only bad thing. We just don't have a lot of buying volume. And we're back into that downtrend. We're breaking the downtrend a little bit. We're trying. VWAP's a good first target here. Right? VWAP is a good first target here. I mean, definitely take profits if you want. Like, it's your trade. If you want to take profits, take profits. I want to see if we get VWAP. Right? I want to see if we get that VWAP. So if you want to take profits, it's your account. Do what you think is best for you. I'm going to hold a little bit longer because it's the small account. And I want to see if we get a little bit more of a move on up because my analysis suggests we get a move on up. But again, how many times have you been in a trade where you don't take profit and it goes against you? Jesus, I keep talking myself into making good decisions. I'm going to take half. I'm going to take half and go risk-free. Jesus, Josh. Jeez, man. So here's what we're going to do on the small account. We have 3 contracts left. Cost basis is 105. We're going to go 3 contracts. Market. Order type, we're going to go stop. Stop price is our cost basis. So 1.07, we're going to account for slippage. Right? We're going to account for slippage. We took half our profit on the small account. We're going to let the rest run. We're going to let the rest run. We nailed the lows. Okay, so 105 is our cost basis on the final 3 contracts. We got 3 contracts stopping at 107. It's a stop order, right? And then all we're going to do is click sell. And then what we see here is now we have a stop at 107 on the runner position. So I'm going to let this be a runner. I'm not going to take it all for $100. I'm going to make this a runner. If I get stopped out, we made a whopping 30 bucks on the small account, but we got to go back and say, what was that from a percentage standpoint? Like, yeah, we made 30 bucks if we get stopped out on the runner. But what is that from a percentage standpoint? But here's the deal. At one point in time, if we closed out completely at VWAP, right? If we closed out completely at VWAP, what would that have been? $100. What was the investment? $600. What is that from a percentage return? That's almost 10%. So overall, it was a solid trade, great entries, little to no risk. And we're going to see if we can position ourselves and leave a runner on the table. And the reason why is because we nailed the bottom. We got our entry, first entries right through here. and we added right here. So we have a little bit of breathing room, right? We nailed the bottom, and that's a great area to be long and have that breathing room to see if you continue to move on up. And if we get stopped, dude, we get stopped out, right? I would say like what, 80% of the time, your runners get clipped, right, Corey? 80% of the time, your runners get clipped. It's just a part of the game. But 20% of the time, your runners freaking print, and it was worth it. Who made money on that trade on YouTube for free? Like, I literally forgot to shut down YouTube because, like I said, right at 9:30 when the market opens, I want to get long on the SPY. Right when the market opens, I want to get long on the SPY. So I completely forgot about YouTube. But if you made money on YouTube, let me know. Jack just made $60 on his smaller account on 3 contracts. Jack making free money. Making free money over on YouTube. Congrats. Congrats. We got more profits and profits, chat. Decided to go back to trading 1 contract to readjust. Congratulations there. You bought 1 call. Fantastic. Good trade, man. Good trade, Carlos. Back to 1 contract. That's perfect. You got a solid $19 on your small account. It's all about the consistency. It's all about only the best of the best trades. It's about having plans and just honoring your freaking plans. 1 contract or 100 contracts. It doesn't matter. The trades are the trades. The setups are the setups. The plans are the plans, right? Consistency is consistency. So congratulations there, Carlos. Way to get after it. So, again, there's the 80% chance that that runner gets clipped. There's a 20% chance that we hold and rip, and that runner runs, and that runner prints. And we got a nice little one and done on the day for the small account. Right now, total capital utilized, $600. We had 6 contracts at 105. That's right around $650 of capital utilized. Okay. If you do put that in perspective, right? Even if we get stopped out on the runner, right? Which it could happen. We get stopped out on that runner, and we're getting really close. Getting really close here from getting stopped out. But again, if you had a $650 investment times 0.03%, that's $20, and we got stopped out. So $650 investment times 0.05%. That's how much you made. You made 5% on the trade. It sucks. You got stopped out. It absolutely sucks. You got stopped out. Your runner got clipped, but you made 5%. All right, there's nothing wrong with 5%. You threw 10 grand at it times 0.05. Made $500, right? But that's a big investment. If you would have taken it all, if you would have taken that entire $90 profit at that point in time, okay, maybe you did. What was that? $650 times 0.40? Nah, it wouldn't be that much, right? $650 times it's right, 15%? 15% if you took it all. But like I said, 80% chance that you get clipped. But hey, green's green, right? It's the principle of the small account. That's why we're doing the small account, to help you guys grow your $500 accounts, $1,000 accounts, and see consistency, build confidence. And then you're going to start scaling in next week, right? We're going to start scaling next week in the bigger positions to make bigger profits. That will come with bigger losses, but we'll see bigger profits on average. Yeah, we got S&P Global Manufacturing PMI here in 20 seconds. S&P Global Manufacturing PMI here in the next 10 seconds. All right, YouTubers, enjoy your day. You got a little bit of a sneak peek on what we do. So again, hopefully you guys enjoyed the session. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Come join us. Come find us. Trade with us live inside of chat every single day. But again, congrats. You guys got a little bit of that sneak peek today. All right. So enjoy your day. Take care. If you made money, congrats, Jack. Amazing work there. Hopefully you learned something at the same time as locking in some profits, buddy. All right. So take care and have a good one. Traders, it's just me and you now. Team, it's just me and you. Right? That's really unfortunate we got clipped to the penny there. Clipped to the penny, and then now it rips. That usually happens. You get clipped to the penny, and then it rips, but it's a part of the process. It's a part of the game. You still nailed your entries. Still nailed your entries down there. You're up 50 cents on the SPY, right? Those are good profits, guys. Good profits. Right? And then you break VWAP. I still see potential to that downtrend that we were discussing. How square? I do like square, guys. You have that left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break of the downtrend coming on up, right? That would be beautiful here on Square for a swing trade. Connor, does your charting platform print pre and post market candles? Yes, it does, right? You can see here, you see this gray box, right? That's pre-market data. You see this gray box here, that would be post-market data. So yes, I do get printed, right? Post-market and pre-market data. Absolutely. And the one trade I didn't tell you guys about this morning that I like is NVIDIA short below 229.50. NVIDIA short below 229.50 to fill the massive gap. You see that 229.50 resistance. Now we see it holding support after earnings. If we fall back below that support level and stay below it, you can definitely come down and fill this gap here on NVIDIA in the coming weeks around 216. So if you break out of that zone, right? You got this zone, right? You could even put a little box around it, right? You see how we just been consolidating in this little gray box, right? Right now, it's going to be challenging to trade this, okay, if you want to swing trade. If you fall below the support level of 229.46, you have great odds that you come down and start filling this gap, okay? And other than that, that's just what you're looking for here on NVIDIA, okay? Definitely want to see if we can ever get a crack on down below 229.50, and we'll look for a swing trade down to fill this lower gap around 216.80. We discussed Square. Want to see the break of this downtrend before getting involved. Tesla. Where's Tesla on that trend line? Tesla on that trend line here? Yep, Tesla's on that trend line right now, right at yesterday's low of day. That's a place that you want to play calls. I want to get some calls here on Tesla on my main account. Not a small account trade, but my main account. Right off that support level, off that trend line. If it cracks, it cracks. Right now, I may play some calls here on Tesla just for a quick little intraday trade. As again, you know, that's just what I'm seeing from an analysis standpoint. But again, you know, as long as we're below that 203.70, I don't like it, right? As long as we're below yesterday's low of day, not a fan of it, right? But still, I want you to zoom out and see where we're at on that trend line. When we zoom out, take a look at where we are on that trend line. I mean, we're right there at that trend line. Right there at that trend line right now. So I want to see if that level is going to hold. So here's the deal on Tesla. If we get back above that 203.74, I'll take calls. We get back above 203.74 and we hold these lows. That's going to confirm we're back above yesterday's low of day here on Tesla, right? We're back above yesterday's low of day. And that would validate we're holding that trend line. I would definitely get involved here on Tesla. So I'm watching Tesla here. Corey says, remember when I used to set my hard stops like 3 cents below you? And it worked? Yeah, Corey. You know when I banned you a few times in chat and you just couldn't come in and participate? Remember that? Ha 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 ha. It's gonna happen again. That's some funny stuff there, man. Funny stuff. Yeah, guys, always make sure you're set to live. Always make sure you're on live. If you're not on live, it's a prior day. Yeah, 100%. Always just come in and refresh. If you just come in and refresh your browser every single morning, you'll know that you're set, ready to rock. Right now, I'm just watching Tesla here, ladies and gentlemen. TSLA. Just watching Tesla here to see if we ever get a reason grab any calls if we get back above that 203 level, that 203 level here on Tesla. Just watching this one right now. Getting that new low of day. No reason to be playing calls. Again, it has to get back over 203. New low of day. There's a new low of day. So Tesla starting to fade and fall here. And again, you know, that may we may be getting a bit of a confirmation for puts. I mean, not yet. Not yet here. I think it's still too early, especially being 10 minutes out of the gate, 20 minutes out of the gate. But, you know, if we are below this trend line and we don't get back above it, it's starting to confirm some great puts for a swing trade, guys. So I'm getting dialed in here on Tesla, getting ready to go if we ever do crack that trend line. I want you guys to be fully aware of what I'm looking at, why I'm looking at it, and how I'm looking to trade it. Right? Because if you see something similar that resonates with you, you can take the trade as well, as long as you have a plan. ONCS, I got a nice little 235 break into the 260s. All right, so if you guys are watching penny stocks, right, penny stocks, you guys are looking at ONCS